Hey guys, Coldbrew here, and I have a guest today, my friend Scratch. After that Paragon video, Scratch said, okay, we're gonna do another collab. Welcome, man. Welcome, man. How are you doing today?
Yeah, doing pretty good, man. What about you? Just like having a chill one today.
The chill one, we just finished the collab on Scratch's YouTube page. Go over there, check it out, and see the collab. We talk about all things Raid and what's coming in for Raid in the future, right? But this video, we're gonna talk about things that are already in the game, but that just didn't quite do what they wanted. I think they missed the mark. Okay, like they have so much potential. These champions that we're gonna talk about. If they were maybe changed a little bit and they do something a little bit more so it's more fun for us. We always want to do these
Mm.
fun videos. I do fun videos. Scratch for sure does those fun videos. If you've never seen Scratch's video with that double coronar, it's just so much fun. He wrecked Arena when he got that, plus many more, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to look at champions that have something in their kit that sounds great but doesn't actually really work that well. And I'm gonna start it out, man. I'm gonna start it out first with the one and only Jizo the Epic. Okay, we're gonna start with things that people know. Jizo the Epic. This guy right here is a defense champion. You get it in the first 2 weeks of playing, right? And he has this very unique. You apply the counterattack buff on a single ally. And if you have an ally in the leader slot, he's going to place it on that champion, usually if that champion is at full health. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make a Jizo video with him, applying it on the leader slot for Spider. And then all the spiders, the small spiders, will attack the leader. And the first champion will counterattack. He will be able to tank, recover. That's going to be a cool way to beat the spider. But that's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. I don't know if you tried it before, but when a champion has a counterattack buff, guys, enemy AI does not go for that champion. They just avoid it by all means. So if you don't have a way to provoke or something, they will just go for anything else that doesn't have the counterattack, which kind of sucks and made my plan to do this. It failed. My plan failed, and I had to think of something else for the spider.
Yeah, I mean, Jizo is actually that champion when we're all getting him. And I remember back in the day, like all of us hated on him because we were like, "Oh, he's such a bad champion. Him and Shaman, you don't want them." But actually, running Jizo is not bad. Okay, you're definitely gonna have use for him later on. We have the secret rooms for the Doom Tower and stuff. And honestly, he's not so bad how people they make you think. Okay, and the thing that Coldbrew saying about counterattack is the exact same thing with the stun target on the clan boss. So basically, there's specific buffs that
Yeah.
the enemies avoid. So if out of the 5 champions, 4 of them have increased defense, or they have counterattack, or they have reflect damage, the the opponent is gonna ignore those 4, and they're gonna go for the 5th one that is missing one of those buffs.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the same thing with the counterattack. I got Skull Crusher uh, a while ago on my account, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna run him on the Spider, beat Spider 20 back in the day. And guess what? The Spiderlings, they were all going for Skull Crusher. They were ignoring counterattack. So I learned it in a different way. But yeah, would
Yeah.
be cool if some of these strategies, some of these ideas that you have, they could be practical. Like run a Sinesha or a Skull Crown or an AoE champion in the lead, have the counter attack from Jizo, and just slowly kill the Spiderlings, stun them, give them that CC while you're actually killing the Spider Queen slowly. Would be cool if they
Yeah.
would allow you to go
It
like
would
that,
have
you know?
opened up many more things to do with champions
Mm.
such as Jizo and allow us to do more fun things. And I think you had one in mind as well. I think it's a Void champion, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
so I'm actually having a few things in mind with Scatix, right? So he's
right.
he's an awesome champion. I don't like the passive, okay? So if you're looking at the passive, places a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn whenever their HP drops below 30%. So you think about Skull Crown, you think about Leorius, they kind of work a bit differently. So when Skull Crown or Leorius gets the damage, they instantly have unkillable. You cannot kill them with a normal hit. You're gonna need either something that ignores unkillable, block buffs, debuff on them, or something like that. Well, with this one, it's not like that. So if I have 30k HP as an idea, and the damage that I'm dealing on him is 31k, he's gonna die. That block damage is never gonna come in play. And I feel like because of it, this stops this champion from being used in arena in Go second teams. Like he has so much potential. Like you could build so many different teams around him as Go second teams. But unfortunately, this kind of like creates that limit where you gotta use him either with Sandless Survivor, either with Seeker, either with the Kyoku, just to have that extra tankiness for him to keep him alive. I would like to see this working the same way like it works on the other champions. Like you have the clans, shield, immunity, has a chance to
Yeah.
steal buffs as well. He's a solid champion. Would love to see him being
It's
used
one
more.
of these times that Raid does, like, they put like the same skill that other champions have, but because of some small differences in the wording, like let's say Leorio says when he receives fatal damage, so some differences in the wording just doesn't make the champion do the same thing. And it's not like other epics don't have a way to stay alive. I mean, this would have been cool. I think also we have Ugo. Ugo has a very similar thing when everybody else dies, right? He has
Yeah.
she applies a block damage buff, and that actually hopefully gets you that turn so you can actually revive, and that's a pretty cool passive as well. So yeah, that would have actually opened up a lot of things and more fun setups if that worked a little bit different or similarly to others. Let's say there was like a group of champions, they had the same skill and it's just shared, like the max enemy HP damage champions. They have different multipliers, but it pretty much works the same way.
The same way, yeah.
It depends on the enemy's max HP. The next one is gonna be Tolf, okay? Tolf, if you remember this guy, very unique champion, right? With the blades on his hands and stuff. He has a very unique A2. When not attacking bosses, inflicts pure damage and decreases the target's HP to 50%. Imagine if he could do that to bosses, but not, let's say, 50%. Imagine if it was flat, the 10% that we have right now. You want to have Royal Guard, you put it with the crazy gear, and you have this guy, he comes in and just does it with no gear at all. 10% of the boss's health every single time for, the spider, the Hydra heads. It would have been insane, right? It would have been amazing. Maybe not the Hydra, but maybe in other places it would have made this guy so cool to use. Probably overpowered. Maybe they would have to limit it to instead of 10%, maybe 5%, maybe something different. But so much potential that would have made this champion actually usable. Instead, he's just there, sitting, and really not being used.
I mean, it's Tolf the useless, basically.
Yeah.
So when you're reading this skill, you're like, inflicts pure damage, man. Pure damage. When you're seeing that, you're like, wow, this is a badass champion. Well, 10%, how you said it, is going to be overpowered. I don't think so. Even for Hydra, you have 4 heads. Imagine you're just hitting a single head for 10% of his HP. So it's basically almost nothing comparing it. It's like you're taking a Cold Heartin or a Septimus and just hit one head. He cannot be critical anyway. So I feel like, he could be something a bit more special. Let us actually use the champion, because he just sounds interesting, but then he was so damn bad. I remember when I tested him, I was like, oh my God, like, what's this champion doing, It was crazy.
Same thing with me. It was fun to test him a little bit on non-bosses, but then after that, it's all right. There's nowhere to use him really.
Yeah, not really.
Next one is you, man. Next one is you. I think you wanted to say something about Daywalker.
Daywalker, yeah. That's actually a champion that I had in my eyesight for 2 years since I started making content, right? So I always wanted to make something stupid with him, bring him in, let him die, do some crazy stuff. Yeah, you can use him right now in the team with the Cardinal on Stone Skin. If they have a Lydia, you're gonna position him in the second slot or first slot. He's gonna die, revive, activate Lydia's passive, and then you can revive with the Cardinal without a problem, basically. But the whole idea that I wanted to try with this champion, okay? He was one of my very first Void Rares I ever pulled in the game, okay? Revive this champion and attacks all enemies after being killed. This hit cannot be critical. Now, this part was not in his description back in the day, okay? This was not mentioning that it cannot be critical.
Right.
And I tried him multiple times. I even reported him as being busted because he's not working as intended, because it was not mentioned. I wish this would be critical, man. Like, let us do something with him, like he could be so fun, like imagine you build 3 of them and you're just going and wrecking some pleb teams, It's not gonna work against crazy teams. It's not gonna work against
of course,
good teams, but it's gonna work against a few teams so you can have a bit of fun, I would like to see more champions to have fun. Like, I'm playing games to have fun, I'm playing games to relax, to have a bit of enjoyment outside of the real world. I want to try stupid things and be do fun stuff, you know. So I would like to
Yeah,
see more champions that
that's
allow us to
exactly
do stuff like
what
that.
I felt the first time I saw him in I think Faction Wars, or somewhere. I don't remember the first time I attacked the Daywalker, and he revived and just attacked me. I was like, okay, what happened? He didn't take a turn. How did my health go low? Right? What
Mm.
happened? And I remember, oh, it's Daywalker. That would have been so cool if he had like a big, crit damage multiplier in there as well. He had do some fun stuff. Like, the new players would see him in arena. They wouldn't know. They see it rare. They go attack it. It's all
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
It happens to you a couple of times, and then after that, it's you know how to beat it. You use a different champion, a different set of gear. You go with a shield set, stuff like that, and you understand more of the mechanics of how the game works. Really, when these things happen, like
exactly. Yeah,
the Paragon video, that was it. Like, okay, go with the stun set. It cannot be resisted, so it's pretty easy to counter Paragon with that. You don't even need the crazy accuracy or anything else. Um,
mm.
Next one on the list, I wanted to go in the legendaries, all right? Because I was gonna do a video of this guy some time ago, and I was looking at him and thinking, okay, he has this very unique passive. I'm talking about Warchief, by the way. He's got a very
Mm.
unique passive. Reflects 60% of the damage taken back to the attacker. I was like, okay, unkillable team with Warchiefs in there. The damage should be insane. All right, he's gonna be like a big cloudless damage dealer. Finally, a place for Warchief. Other than maybe the hard Doom Tower where we use him maybe for that one specific boss, the Magma Dragon. Other than that, not really used, right? I thought, okay,
Mm.
unkillable teams with this guy would be amazing, but no. The way that this works is if you are at 1 health and you get attacked, because you have no health, you reflect 1 damage back to the attacker, and it sucks. The attacker might do like 100,000 to you, but because you're at 1 health, it counts as basically 0 or 1, and you reflect back 1 damage, and it totally misses the point that you want to do. Like, build a very cool team that reflects, and you want to have some fun with that.
Yeah, is that? But even on bosses and stuff, I feel like the reflect damage is nerfed. It has some sort of a cap because it
Yeah.
barely deals any damage. You know, I feel like reflect damage overall should get a bit of a buff. Like they should slightly rework it a bit on bosses. Like talking about Bogwalker. Now that we're here at reflect
Yeah,
damage,
yeah.
like
You mentioned you wanted to talk about that one as well. Let's
yeah.
go.
So I kind of had like an idea with him to use him for arena defense back in the day. Like it was ages ago when the resistance shield meta was kind of a thing, you know. I wanted to bring in a Bogwalker, rack all these Strandas attacking me with resistance. You won't strip my shield. You're just gonna activate the reflect damage on my entire team because of Bogwalker when you're gonna hit him with the first hit with Tranda, and then Tranda is gonna die before killing the rest of my team, and that's gonna put you in a bad situation. But it's just not reflecting the damage properly back. So I feel like it's just not that great reflect damage. I feel like they should make it a bit better.
Yeah, they should check on how the reflect is actually reflected. So like if you get 100k crit, this says 30%. My head, I think, okay, 30,000 damage should go back to the Trunda, right? It's not always
Mm.
how it works, I believe. I haven't checked the numbers, to be honest, but from just playing the game, I don't think it's how it works 100% of the time.
It does.
Um,
No, 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 no.
yeah,
From what I've seen, either no.
and I think the final one on my list was again a Skinwalker champion. It's gonna be Hawkhorn. It was right next to Warchief, but
Mm.
we went on the reflect route. Like Hawkhorn has this very unique A3. You must have seen it before, where he basically sacrifices himself. Maybe almost like the same way that Daywalker is. Like Daywalker dies to do damage. Hawkhorn the same thing. He loses health to basically do damage based on his max health, and 50% of that is done. This attack is always a normal hit. That's what breaks it for me, man. I wanted this to be able to put crit damage, HP, have him be a nuker that doesn't even attack the champions directly. He kills himself to kill the enemies. That would have been
Mm.
such a cool way to have a champion, an HP nuker like that, who also happens to have like a removes debuffs, a block debuffs, a heal. It would have been so cool to use, really.
And it could have been fun. I feel like maybe back in the day, they would have considered this OP. But now we have so many things in the game stopping you from doing damage, so much damage
Yeah,
reduction, so many different sets that a skill like this, even if it's gonna crit, is not gonna be amazing. You know, it's gonna be decent. It's gonna be a bit of fun, but it's not gonna work against the top
the
teams
top
in the
teams.
game. To
Yeah,
be like, you're not like gonna break the game with it. So it would be fun to have it. Like, why not? You know, like
why not? Yeah, that's what
give,
I
give
said when I always go through these champions. And my idea for this video was like, why not play him? Just let us have some fun. It's not gonna
yeah,
break the
like
game.
give them a purpose. You know, like let the people know, okay, I get this champion, I can have fun with him. It's not gonna change my account completely. You know, it's not like I just pulled Krisk, I just pulled Duchess, I pulled Sifi. But you pull this and you're like, oh, I can have fun with him. I can do these stupid things, you know. Haha. It was so fun playing him for 1 or 2 weeks. You know what I mean? At
Yeah,
least let the people feel that when they're pulling a champion, they're like, oh no, I got this guy. You know, like, oh no.
exactly. I think the final one of the list was one you mentioned that you had some ideas. I think it was
Yeah,
the Shadow
Gamuran,
Kid
man. Gamuran. Like, I really thought that he was gonna be able, like, with the A2 buff spread, right? This is the first champion that has this. At least
buff spread,
do it
right?
on all the allies. I was like, wow, this is gonna be a solid champion. He's gonna be able to spread maybe the stone skin from Hydra. You're gonna
Oh
be able
yeah,
to beat crazy teams. You're gonna be able to do this and that. But unfortunately, he cannot spread that particular buff. He cannot spread unkillable. He cannot spread block damage. You know, so that kind of puts it to be like, well, how I'm gonna use this champion? The only thing that I kind of have in with him is like build him on immunity, spread immunity on the rest of your team. Maybe as an idea, if you have him and you want to use him, not just vault him. You know, so that
yeah,
would be an idea on his A2. Would be fun to see him being able to spread buffs. You know, because
yeah,
is the only champion doing it, and we have no use for him. You know, like at least let us have fun with him. Maybe use him in our clan boss team, spreading unkillable from a paragon to the rest, or some crazy stuff like that. You know, like I don't know. And then his A3 again is the if the target is that places block revive. This as well, I feel like it could be better for the ice golem, maybe to try and use him there. But even then, if the target is a boss minion, the damage is equal to 20% of this champion's max HP, you know. So basically, the attack cannot be critical and will ignore any shield buffs, you know. So we cannot do any damage on the minions on the ice golem with him either. So I feel like this needs to be a bit changed to at least allow us to use this champion there to have a bit of fun with him, to do some other crazy stuff, I don't know, in the game, you know.
And, and the bad thing about this champion is that it's not only his kit, which looks unique, is that the champion looks so good. He was also
I
offered
know.
in a guaranteed summon, right? I think it
Yeah,
was
exactly.
150 ancients, or was it
It
the
was
sacreds?
indeed, or something like that. I can't even remember, but yeah.
It was, one of the two that we had so
Mm.
far, either ancients or sacreds. But yeah, this guy has such a unique kit, especially the buff spread. You could have make it work. Hex, we see that Hex, they slowly add stuff into Hex, so we can have some synergies. But this guy still, the buff spread seems very limiting when it's a random buff. It should have been takes like a specific buff. It should have named it, let's say attack up, and spreads it, and then +1 random, so you knew it would take the other buff as well and spread it.
Yeah, or takes the buff that has the highest cooldown out of it. Like I have increased defense for 2 turns, increased speed for 1 turn. It's gonna spread increased defense basically. So then you
Yeah,
could play him around in a way, you know. But for some reason, it's useless as well, you know. So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that
totally,
feels
man.
bad. Feels
Right.
bad.
I think we covered a lot of champions. There's so many champions in this game. This is why I love Raid compared to other games I've played throughout the years. It has so many champions, so many different possibilities. That's why we still play it, right? It's fun to build the teams, even for just some fun, some couple of hours to test it out. It makes it enjoyable time, entertainment.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Go over to Scratch to see our other collab that we just did. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys soon. See ya.
Peace.